Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome officially to the channel. This is, as you know from the intro, a series where I go into odd gaming accessories or peripherals that developers made to get us more into the game mentally or physically. Today, well, this one I suspect influenced multiple imaginations, but is yet to have a really mainstream adaptation outside of this attempt. Because today we're going to talk about the Aura Interactor. Now, there have been no shortages of attempts to get us more into the game in this channel. The Nintendo Power Glove, Sega Activator, heck, even the Sega Stereoscope 3D glasses made attempts early on to pull us more into the game visually. What we really haven't seen a lot of ways of is how to help us feel like we're more in the game. And by that I don't mean kicking or punching, I mean along the lines of actually feeling the vibration of an engine starting up, or the hit from an opponent when they punch you. Sure, modern controllers have tried to help us feel more a part of the game with haptic feedback motors in the controller, and those to their credit have gotten very sophisticated. But in many ways, this is a small amount of feedback to sound. You could hardly say compare the sound of an engine revving up in a car or in a plane to the slight vibration in your hands, but what if there was some way to really feel it? The kind of vibration would get you from a heavy hitting sound hitting you in the chest.
The usual, sir.
Like at a concert. Well, Aura Systems sought to do just that in the 90s with the Aura Interactor. But what is this thing? Let's take a look and see if we can figure that out. The device itself was the brainchild of a man named Larry Schultz, who was at the time Aura's VP of Audio and Video Technologies. He always wondered what it'd be like to actually feel the video game. Keep in mind, this was before we had force feedback in controllers like the N64 Rumble Pack or the DualShock line of controllers. With that in mind, this was a pretty novel idea, and even by today's standards, pretty adventurous idea to be making. They even signed a deal with Acclaim to promote Mortal Kombat 2, in addition to the Aura's own $5 million campaign. Yes, $5 million. This included putting an Interactor advertisement card into the Mortal Kombat 2 game boxes, and Mortal Kombat 2 game slips into the Interactor boxes. In addition to this marketing deal, Acclaim programmed special audio cues into the game code to trigger responses from the Interactor itself. However, how did you put this thing on, and how well did it work? The Aura Interactor was a vest-like device that the player would wear with the intent of taking low-level frequencies and translating them into force feedback. Think of this thing as a sort of subwoofer strapped to your back. Now, most of us would actually think of this as strictly a Genesis-style device. I know I did. However, it actually worked with the Super Nintendo at the time. And I know what you're asking now, how in the heck would you wear this thing, much less get any use out of it? Well, wiring it up was a little odd, but not too overly complicated. You simply plugged in the required adapter for the console you wanted to use it on, and then plugged the audio cables into that. The unit would then obviously need to be plugged into a power outlet and strapped onto the wearer. When a sound of sufficient decibel level would come through the audio, it would then fire the subwoofer into your back, for lack of a better description. This, as you might have imagined, is a fairly painful and, given the era of the tech, unlikely to be all that accurate kind of device, unless it was programmed specifically for certain cue tones, which honestly could have been hit accidentally by other games that weren't really even intending to use the device itself. This meant you were just as likely to get the crowd cheering as you score a goal activating it, just as much as getting hit by Scorpion's spear. Rumor has it that this would work not only with these two consoles, but in theory, PC. The reason being is because it just required an appropriate audio jack, so if your sound card or motherboard supported those connectors, you could, in theory, use the device there as well. Now, I guess the last question is, how well was this thing received? Well, this is up for a bit of a debate. Critically, it was fairly successful, selling about 400,000 units, and even receiving an award for innovation in gaming by Electronics Industry Association. Even Electronic Gaming Monthly piped in saying that for $100, the Interactor was a good value. However, for many players, it activated too often or not at the right time, had limited options to make adjustments to the amount of force, which could make it at times painful to use as stated above. It did, however, spark influences moving forward, with more people wondering, what if you could feel the game? Leading to movies like Ready Player One using full haptic suits, and more development in the area with a focus around VR. It's safe to say that this device, while early, awkward, and sometimes painful, definitely sent ripples through time and has influenced many a person to continue pushing the medium forward. However, what do you guys think of this one? Do you think it's a cool step forward or just another gimmick that's best left in the past? Did any of you ever own this one, and if so, what were your opinions of it? Let me know in the comments. But for now, I'd like to thank all of you who spent part of your day with me. And if you could, I'd like to impose on you for one more favor. If you could, give this video a like. And if you haven't, consider subscribing. It really does help me out. However, for now, thank you one last time for watching, and until next time, happy gaming.